तमाम साथियों का बेहद शुक्रिया for participating in the zikr and Giriya Wasari. Today we have guest speaker ALWAAZ RIYAZ Sahib. Yani
Yani
Madad.
Madad.
And before we start, I just wanted to say to everyone that I just wanted to make sure that we are starting the intention for 3 days. We have started the day one intention today, and then inshallah from January 1st, we will be starting our 40 days zikr. It will be on individual basis. We will post the links the way I posted it today. If any friends are having any issue, please do let us know. I do have some tutorial videos. We can share it with you. One of the volunteers have helped us tremendously with all of these slides and having the links on it. So it is really beautiful. If anyone have any questions, anything, do text me, please. And then inshallah, we will continue our 2 more days of intention. And from the beginning of New Year's, we will go ahead and start our 40 days at the Kaf. With that, we welcome ALWAAZ RIYAZ Sahib and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Yani Madad, everyone. And thank you so much, Nivin Saiba, for the beautiful recitation of the poem and the zikr. By the grace of our beloved Imam Zaman Maulana Shahkar Musani Hazir Imam's mercy and rahmat and everyone's prayers, may Maula inspire this gathering with his special himmat yari, tawfiq and ta'eed, and help all of us to acquire spiritual knowledge from Imams, from the source of our beloved Imam Zaman and through Imams, Peers, Dais, and Hujjats. So what we are going to discuss tonight, we will look at proof of Imamat. And from this book, which is by Dr. Professor Allama Nasiruddin Hunzai Sahib has written, in this particular book, you will find references and in addition to Quranic references, how would you prove this concept of Imamat from the nature? So I'm just utilizing, my son has prepared a PowerPoint presentation. Aminuddin Momin has prepared this PowerPoint presentation, which is very beautiful. So I'm just using this PowerPoint presentation to explain that. And I would inspire everyone to read this book in detail, because here I'm just bringing some key points and highlighting some key ideas which I'm taking from this particular book. So when we study this particular book by Dr. Allama Sahib, we find this principle of excellence, which is called Usule Afzaliyat in Urdu. So what is this principle of excellence is? Let us try to explore together this principle of excellence. So within this nature, in the nature, we find this things or the individuals which are higher, like we all know this Quranic verse that sanurihim ayatina wa fil afaqi wa anfusihim hatta yatabayyana lahum fil haqq, that Allah says that I will show the signs in the external world and also in the internal world until we know that Allah is haqq or truth. So the signs in the external world is called afaq, and the signs in the internal world within our own self is called anfus. So the principle of excellence is actually not only we find in the smaller parts, but also in the larger part. So there is something is higher in the smaller parts, and also the something is higher in the larger part also, something or individual. So we will look at some of the examples of principle of excellence in smaller parts and also in larger parts. So we will look at some of the examples which will give you more clarification about this principle of excellence. What is this principle of excellence is? And this will bring to these examples will bring to in the end it will bring and it will prove the concept of imamat from the external world and from the internal world also. So I hope that you can come to that conclusion and you can able to bring that conclusion. So let's focus on this principle of excellence and we can look at some of the examples of principle of excellence. So the first example, which there are many examples, and one example we can find in this book is related to the evidence of heavenly bodies. You know, like in this universe, we see many stars, right? There are many stars are there, and I mean, and within these stars, one star is very powerful and very radiant because of its light and heat, and that is the sun in this universe. So you see that that within all these things, within all these stars, one star is superior or higher, and that is the sun. So that is one example of principle of excellence, that the superiority, one thing is superior amongst all other things, and the example is from the stars. So we can look at the another example, the evidence of four elements. So we see within in our own Earth, where we are in this planet, we see there are four elements: the earth, water, air, and fire. So if you look at soil, soil is kind of dense, but in compared to soil, the water is it's more subtle. And then more subtle than water is air. Air is more subtle. But if you look at fire itself, the fire is more subtle than the soil, water, and air, because the fire can encompass everything. Here, the fire is very powerful in that sense that it's the source of light and heat, and it's also a form of the electricity. So you see how this example is going. We see within the nature that how one thing is, you know, less subtle, but then the water, then the air, and then the fire. The fire is at the higher level because it's more subtle, and it's also the source of heat and light and many things which we see. So you can also see that in this example, which will be easier for you to understand. Another example of this principle of excellence is through numbers. You know, evidence of numbers. It's a very interesting that everything starts with zero. So zero is the example of the spiritual world, and it is beyond quantity. And we can you can look into this slide here also, that everything starts from zero. When you put a number you know, after zero, then the number will count like O1 or O2, or just number one or number two. So everything starts from zero, and then the counting is increasing after that. So therefore, number one shows superiority, because without number one, the other numbers would not follow. So you see how this principle of excellence and the superiority, it's we see, you know, everywhere we see it in the external world, and then we can also see within our own selves also. And so, so one another example which I would also want to give you from this particular book here. Okay, so here you can see that evidence of the three generated beings or mawalid. So this is from this particular proof of imamat, and here I just want to highlight this. There are minerals, vegetables, and animals, right? So these are the three. We can see this kingdom here. So there is a um, mineral kingdom, and then there is a vegetative kingdom, and then the animal kingdom. So we can see that minerals are very silent, and there is no movement there. And in compared to the minerals, then the vegetatives or the vegetables are higher because of the growth. And after vegetables, we see the animal kingdom, and this is what Hakim bin Nasir Khusro has also explained in his book Wajidin, that the vegetative kingdom is higher than the mineral kingdom, and then which one is higher than the vegetative kingdom? The animal kingdom is higher than the vegetative kingdom because the animals, can move. There is a growth there in animals, and because of that, they are higher. They are superior. And and after the animal kingdom, because we as human beings are also called, among the animals, but we are the rational or speaking animal, in the sense, because we are superior because of the intellect. So we see the mineral kingdom, vegetative kingdom, and animal kingdom. And within the animal kingdom, the human being is superior because of the intellect. And after that, who is superior after the human being? And you can read over here. It gives you that answer. And before we can, go into that answer in detail, since we are dealing with the evidence, so therefore we can, go back to the next evidence here. So the other example is the example from the world of animals. So here another example is that the example from the principle of excellence, among the corporate animals, the animals who have, four legs. So within these animals, the camel is superior. So why camel is superior? So we can, come to that answer later on. I will, come to that answer. And then the another example which we find in this book is that, the most excellent among minerals are metals, and among them is gold. So, there are many metals, and among that the gold is superior. And then we come to the next example related to the principle of excellence. The most excellent among the trees are the fruit bearing one, and among them the palm tree is the best. So now you can also think about this question: why the palm tree is best? Why this particular tree is superior? And we can come to that answer also later on. So let's just, we can complete this example of principle of excellence. So just keep in mind these two questions. What is the significance and the importance of palm tree, and why the camel is superior among all other animals? So here, the another example is among the heavenly books. The Quran is the most excellent, and within the Quran, and within all the surahs, Surah Fatiha is the higher level because of its title, and because it's called the Kitab, the mother of the book. And another thing is also, this is an example of heart within the human body, and that example will also come later on. I think it's the next one after that. And another example of among the buildings and the mosque and houses of worship are the excellent, and among them the Kaaba is the most excellent because God has specifically called it, and which we find in the Quran, and these are the Quranic references. So this is another example, like, among all the buildings, which one is higher. And here, this example is related to human external organs. And among those human organs, the eye is uh, is at the higher level because, we can see. And earlier, we recited this Quranic verse, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, that we have vested everything in the manifest Imam. And very interestingly, that this Surah Yasin, which is from Surah number 36, is known as the heart of the Quran. Surah Yasin is known as Qalbi Quran. So also think about that. And that besides Surah Fatiha, it's of course significant and important. And Surah Yasin is also very important, and it's known as the heart of the Quran. Who said this? That Surah Yasin is known as the heart of the Quran. So Prophet Muhammad himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has said, which I will paraphrase this hadith, in which Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that everything has its heart, and the heart of the Quran is Surah Yasin. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam considered Surah Yasin as heart of the Quran. So now we can think about it, why this Surah Yasin is known as heart of the Quran, Qalbi Quran, because it contains this important verse that we have vested everything in the manifest Imam. So this is just a thought. We can reflect on it in reference to this principle of excellence. So let's move on to these more examples of principle of excellence. So among flowers, the rose is superior because of its fragrance. And we were talking about the human, within the human body, uh, within many organs, the heart is at the higher level because the heart is the source of life, and blood circulation and everything. And of course many of the health related professionals, doctors and nurses on the call on this meeting would know the significance of that. So here, all these examples are, taking us to one question, that there must be an individual who is superior to all other humans, and who is he? Right? So all these examples are, taking us to that direction. That when we see that within the all these kingdoms, if human is superior, then after that, who is superior within that, within the human beings, and within all the buildings, and all the numbers. So all these examples of principle of excellence is taking to this principle, that the existence of the guidance on this earth, and that individual who is superior from all other human beings, and that is of course the prophet in his time, the prophet during the time of prophethood, and today in the time of imamat. The Imam of the time, the present and the living Imam, is superior because he is the universal intellect and universal soul. And therefore here in Surah 13 verse 7, Allah says that وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ, that for every age there is a guide. And with this principle, and as we also talked about Surah Yasin, and in Surah Yasin, in which the word Mubin is there, that we have vested everything is encompassed in the manifest Imam, that everything in its essence, it's in the present and the living Imam. That's what we see over here. And here, then Omar and Hazimam said that in the part in um, Canadian Parliament speech, in which Imam said that today the Ismailis are the only Shia community who throughout history have been led by a living hereditary Imam in direct descendant from the Prophet. So a hereditary Imam in the direct descendant from the Prophet Muhammad, and that is the proof, and this is the proof of which Hakim bin Nasir Khusro has given in his book, that what is the proof of the Imam in this world? That, and then the one proof is, as we see, that line of Imamat, the Nur is carried on and passed down from prophethood to the imamathood, from one imam to the another imam. So that is the proof of imamat, which Hakim bin Nasir Khusro has given in his book. And another example which he has given related to proof of imamat in his book, Wajiddin, is the example of nose. He gave the example of nose, that through this particular organ, through the nose, a human can be alive, and we can breathe day and night. And for those, even though if we are awake or not, the nose is keeping us alive by breathing. And for us as the Ismaili Murids of the Imam of the time, because we have Imam's recognition, so therefore we would say that we are in day, we are in the daytime, that we are aware that through the nose we are alive. But for those who are not aware of it, that that their spiritual existence is because of the Imam, their example is like the night. So that is the example which Hakim bin Nasir Khusro has used. And now we can, come to these those questions. Two questions, I was talking about why palm tree is significance, and it's superior from other trees. So as you know that from palm tree it extract wine, and wine in the sense of spiritual intoxication or the love. And olive tea also symbolized natik and asas, so the love for the Prophet and the Imam. So that would be one example, and one interpretation and one explanation is that the heavenly love for the Prophet and for the Imam. And the another question which I raised, it's about this particular animal, the camel. And as you know, that the camel is also known as uh, the ship of the water, ship of the desert. Because it has the ship of the water of desert. And as we all know that this particular camel, animal camel, also take the load and the burden. uh, and in that reference, in our Ismaili literature, the camel also symbolizes the natik. And natik, in the sense of insani kamil, or the or the imam. And because imam is there and imam takes the burden for the nourishment and the upliftment and the quality of life for not only his own murids, but also for the entire humanity. So with that perspective and with that idea, there will be many other explanations and interpretations we can read and find out in our Ismaili literature. But that would be just one, I would say, thought in reference to that particular question. So I hope that this short presentation will inspire you to further read this particular book, in which you will find more references and more examples, because there are more than 10 evidence from nature and from the external world, which will prove the concept of imamat. And in this reference, it's very important that we motivate and explain to our young generation about the principle of imamat and the concept of imamat. And in that reference, there is another farman I just would like to share here, which is very important. So let me just bring that up real quick. If I can have any volunteer to read this farman.
Okay, please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. First, let me remind you that for all murids of the Imam, whether they are from Central Asia, from India, from Pakistan, from the Western world, the fundamental principle is the recognition of the Imam of the time. Maulana Hazur Imam Shah Karim al-Husaini. Please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Moscow, Russia, 29 January 1995.
Thank you so much, Shana Saiba. That was so beautifully read. So this is the next reference. I think I have already read this. So here it's this particular reference of the from both the houses of Parliament of Canada, and it was very interesting. And I'm just trying to pull up that document, which I will definitely share with you. That Imam Sultan Shah alayhi salam came to United States in his I believe in 19 something. I couldn't recall the exact date, but I have in my notes. And in that particular time period when Imam Sultan Shah visited United States, from Washington correspondents, from the media or the Washington media, and this is still it's also available on their website right now. So the Washington media, wrote this in their correspondence in the newspaper that His Highness, His Highness means Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah alayhi salam, has inheritance which Dalai Lama and Pope do not have. So as you all know, that inheritance means that that nur passing down from one imam to another imam. So even the Washington the media had acknowledged this. And this is what is unique, that this nur of the Imam, and that is what it is, and which we recite in the second part of the dua in Surah number 4, verse number 59, that Atiullah wa Atiur Rasul wa ulil amri minkum, obey Allah, obey Prophet, and obey the one who is the possessor of the command, ulil amri minkum, who is amongst you, the one who has the who is in command, the possessor of the command. And after Prophet Muhammad, the one who has this who is in this position of command should be to that level, should be to that higher level, and of course Imam is at that higher level. With these references and these examples, if we can try to internalize it and try to remember it, we can. I'm sure we can help our kids and our students and our young generation and our family members and our Jamaati members and our spiritual brothers and sisters in the Jamaat, and through knowledge and through true knowledge, through ilmul yaqeen, we can further enhance our faith and our love for the Imam. And in addition to that, of course, the element of zikr, ibadat, it's very important. And as we are aware, this example of a bird, that a bird can fly with two wings. So the wing of knowledge and the wing of ibadat. So if we, as a murid, our soul is like a bird, and our soul wants to fly, as we said in the Gnan, that Pakhadiya Johu to Shahne Jai Milu Shukaru Maru Pindarun Hat. That my body is a hurdle for me, that I cannot fly. So that spiritual flight is possible through Imam's ardent love. And in addition to Imam's ardent love, that ardent love of Imam comes through true knowledge. And I hope that tonight this principle of excellence will further enhance your knowledge. And this is all because of Maula's rahmat and his mercy and everyone's prayers. So with that, I would conclude here. And please, if I can clarify anything further, please feel free to ask.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Wonderfully explained, the concept of excellence in everything in the world. So it was wonderful. We do have a couple of the questions. The question says, can you please explain the excellence of the palm tree again? So if you can just revise it for.
Yes, sure. So in this example, that within all the trees, the palm tree is superior, and it's also in the Quran. The Quran also talks about the palm tree, and I just have to trying to find out the reference, which I will later on. So why the palm tree is significance, and the palm tree within all the trees, palm tree or the dates, and these two trees are at the higher level, or are superior. So the one reason is that it's that these trees extract wine, and wine it's in the spiritual sense. So we look at in the spiritual sense that the wine is the symbol of love, and a symbol of spiritual intoxication, and spiritual intoxication for the Prophet and the Imam. So it's the symbol of love. So wine symbolizes love, not in the physical sense, right? In the physical sense, then it will take it in the negative direction. But it's in the positive sense, and the positive sense is the spiritual intoxication, in which we feel more happiness and more joy and more satisfaction. And it symbolized the Natik and Asas, and Natik is the Prophet and the Asas is the Imam. So the love for the Prophet and the love for the Imam.
Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. There is another question I have here, separately came in. What about the evidence of two also like pairs? I think the person is asking about pairs, but I'm not sure 100%. So like all of the two, like everything in two is pairs. So if you want to maybe touch base on pairs.
Okay. Like all the things in pair, like two eyes, and
Yeah.
that's a very, very interesting question. I think I just have to kind of reflect further and find some more examples about two pairs. Like the person is referring to what would be some examples in reference to pairs, right? Like two eyes, or
Yeah, day and night and all of those things, everything is in pairs. So I think we have talked about it before in a few other lectures as well. So inshallah, when you come back, maybe you can reflect a little bit more for us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or if anyone else has any thoughts on that, so please feel free to share.
Friends, if you have any questions or any comments, please come forward. You can unmute and come forward, or you can post the questions or comments in the chat.
So with that reference, since we are talking about the principle of excellence, so in Wajidin there is a chapter, chapter number 2, and in the chapter 2 there is a debate about the about that how would you prove that your imam is a true guide. So that would be also a good source for all our spiritual brothers and sisters on the call, that they can also have this as a reference. So there's a good debate over there, that how would you prove that your guide or the imam is the true imam? And there are many other references. The book is there. Then who can explain the book? Who can explain the wisdom of the book? So that is also very interesting. While I was, preparing for this, I also read that particular chapter. So I would encourage that if friends can also read that chapter.
Yes, subhanallah, because I did post the links for both English and the Urdu in the chat. So if friends would like to, go ahead and they can. Otherwise, you can access it on monoreality.org, or you can access it on the smileyliterature.org. I do have one other a question or a comment together. So this friend is saying, Ya Ali, when we say about two wings of ibadat and ilm, so my question is, if one uses one wing of ilm only and not the ibadat, will be more harmful in comparison to the using of wing of ibadat without the ilm? Which will be more harmful, although both wings are necessary in elevation? So, the whole analogy when we use is we need two wings, ilm and ibadat. And the person's question is, if we were to do more ilm, but we are lacking the ibadat, and, as we have heard that, it's harmful. So the question is, the theme of the talk is that there is always something superior in everything. With this theme, are we trying to learn that Mola is superior in human form? Definitely, that's what the thing is. But I think the other friend is asking about balancing, or being lack in one or the other.
Yeah, sure. So in reference to, imams, so we are talking about imams' superiority in the spiritual form. In the spiritual form, because of imam's light, because of imam's nur, because of imam's knowledge. So we are looking at in the spirit, more in the spiritual sense. So these examples are, helping us to understand and to look into imam's spirituality. Because as we have heard this Ginan, that in which Peace said in the Ginan that iji eka fikara munivaram che amne tamari manas rupe sahib jano ji, that one thing which worries me, that a murid thinks of an imam as an ordinary human being. So definitely imam is in a human form, and we respect that. But a true murid looks into and focus on imam's spirituality. That is the next step. Of course we respect, and that is the first step, and then we move on to the next step. So that is the main point which we also need to understand. And when we look at the imam in the human form, definitely imam goes through with physical things as an ordinary human being goes through, right? But our focus is, or our a test of a murid is that with this perspective we still look at and we focus on imam's spiritual aspect, and we yearn for imam's spirituality. Even and that is, we find in the Quran that people objected about Prophet, that and said that Prophet is like an ordinary human being, and then a verse revealed to Prophet Muhammad that, but the Prophet gets revelation, which not the ordinary people are getting. So this is how Allah distinguished a prophet from the ordinary people. In that reference, there is another example of Maulana Rumi, in which Maulana Rumi gives 4 examples. One example is about wasbi and honeybee. They both look alike, but there's a big difference, right? That honey produces the honeybee produces honey, which is a source of healing. So there is more examples, which is, I think, which we have already discussed before. But the essence of this example is that, even though Imam look like an ordinary human being, but Imam is completely different because of its light and nur and his knowledge, because he is Rasikun fil ilm. And then in reference to the second question related to 2 wings, definitely, actually, what I would say that as we also find in Imam Sultan Musha's Faramin also, in which Imam said, which I will paraphrase, that we can also find in Imam Sultan Musha's Faramin that Imam gives equal importance to knowledge and ibadat, both, because they both are equally important. So if a murid is lacking in one thing, then it will delay to get to our destination. And our destination is to experience or come close to the nur of our Imam Zaman, right? And to experience Imam's light within us. So if we are lacking any one of that, then we are delaying that, we are delaying in that journey. So that would, I would say that, our spiritual elevation would be more quicker, more faster, if we try to keep these 2 elements together, because in our Ismaili literature, in the Ginan, in the Faramin, we find equal importance to knowledge and action, both the knowledge and ibadat. They both are equally important because they both supplement each other.
Can I share something, please?
Yes, sure.
So, Alhamdulillah, I really value and weigh your words, and the person, another Ismaili friend of ours is wanting more explanation. I can humbly request that you all can join into more sessions, like how Riyaz sir is there as he's explaining, and there are many sessions which come almost throughout the week where you can enhance your knowledge more and more about the ilm. And Allah Ta'ala has given us intellect, so Maula Baba says, please use it. Educate yourself, so that Amitame Amara Jeva Thai Sakucho, like Sultan Muhammad Shah said. So that's all.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, sure, definitely. Yes, definitely. Yes. And you reminded me the Usuluddin Farman, and then Usuluddin Farman, in which Imam Sultan Masha alayhi salam said that, if someone amongst you were to be in like Pir Sadaddin, Pir Shams, you can be in like that. You can rise even higher. That's what in the Usuluddin Farman, Imam Sultan Masha alayhi salam has said. And the Usuluddin Farman also, Imam highlighted about the significance of knowledge. Right? And then, we find it in the Ginani, Jisute Bete Baira Chalante Naam Sahib Ji Ko Lijiye, that in every moment you engage yourself in the remembrance of Allah, in the remembrance of the Imam.
Subhanallah. There is another question. I will share it with you. It's not directly related to the topic today right now, but I will forward it to you, so you can decide if you would like to take it now or you want to maybe take it at another time. If any friends, meanwhile, do you have any questions or any comments related to this session from today, please come forward and we can talk about it. If no questions, then I would like to take the opportunity and thank Riyaz Sahib for coming on our platform once again and sharing this wonderful, ilmi points with us, and it really enlightens our heart, and it really tells us that we really need to all work hard and inshallah focus on our ilm and ibadat both, and understand these facts, and try and read what he is telling us he's been reading. So inshallah, we can go ahead and talk about these things inshallah in future session. If you would like, if any friend would like to come forward and ask the question, you can come forward and ask the question. If any caller, if you would like to come forward and ask the question.
So thank you, everyone. Once again, I really enjoyed, and of course, we all learn from each other. And Nivin Sahiba reminded me the farman of our beloved Imam Zaman, in which Hazimam said that, the study of Quran takes, many years. So I just say to myself that, that I, as Imam's murid, that I need to, read more, engage more in reading and reflecting. And of course, we are very fortunate that we have these, I think 5 books of Hazimam's Faramin books, which are, published from our institution, that we benefit from those books, and that will also enlighten all of us.
Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow we will have zikr and Giyazari session to end this year. And inshallah, if friends would like to participate in doing the zikr, can text me or just come forward tomorrow and share your mehmanis of zikr or Giyazari. So inshallah, we end this year with shukrana to our Imam Zaman, and inshallah, we pray for everyone's safety and security and lots of blessing throughout these years. Thank you, and Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, everyone. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad. Thank you.
Yali Madad. Thank you so much.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.